What's up, Tailgaters? My name is Tailgate Nate. Welcome back to my channel. This video is a day later than usual. For that, I apologize. I was experiencing some technical difficulties with my computer and the internet on campus, but all of that is fixed now, and I am back here recording this video for you guys. It's my Week 8 predictions. This is, as you see on screen, a big week for the Mountain West, and is this the week we see a lot of upsets? Yes, there have been upsets this year, but is this the week that we really see upsets start to ramp up? You guys are going to find out. Again, this is my personal top 10 games of the week. And if you guys are excited, you guys want to see more college football content from me, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when I upload. That would be really kind of you. You can also leave a like, share the video, comment down below anything you'd like to comment, or if you see a game that is not on this list, like I know, for example, Utah, Oregon State not on this list, that's pretty interesting. I think I'm going to pick Utah there to win that game. But again, any other games that you would like to see me break down a little bit, leave it in the comment section below if you don't see it in this video. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. As per usual, all times are in Eastern Standard Time, and all lines and odds are, as of recording this video, they are subject to change. And we're going to start off with a battle of the gold backgrounds. Wake Forest going to hope to remain unbeaten, 16th ranked team in the nation, as they face off with Army going on the road. This is a tricky Army team. People forget how good Army is. Army is no slouch. Noon game on CBS Sportsnet, CBS Sports Network. Wake Forest is a 3-point favorite, and the over and under is 62.5. As per usual, I'll give you guys three things to watch for. Hartman and company, the skill corps for Wake Forest, have been really good this year, led by stud wide receiver Jaquari Roberson. They don't seem to be missing Kenneth Walker that much, although Kenneth Walker leading the nation in rush yards right now at Michigan State. But for Wake Forest, their skill corps has played really well, but this Army defense, again, people are forgetting how good Army is. This Army defense is not bad. It is a really, really solid defense, and it can make Wake Forest pay for its mistakes if Wake Forest is not able to get some things going. Army's definitely defense that can stop you, and I think is going to get a couple stops early in this game with the momentum here at home. But I'm also interested in the flip side of that, the other side of the ball, the Knights triple option versus the Deacons defense. So the Knights, of course, the Black Knights and Army, run a triple option offense, don't pass the ball a lot, as most of the Armed Forces Corps do. But the Deacons defense, the Demon Deacons defense at Wake Forest has not been great this year, allowing 410 yards per game, roughly around there. Now, can it play well? Yes, and I've seen it play well. It just hasn't been consistently good this year, which Army has going in its favor. What also has Army going in its favor is time of possession. With the style that Army plays, the triple option, they are able to control the pace a lot easier. But what I think happens in this game is I think Wake Forest flips the script a little bit. Wake Forest might not lead in time of possession at the end of the day, but it's definitely going to be more of a 50-50 split than Army is used to. Wake Forest is going to get that extra possession that matters, and I think Wake Forest avoids the upset. Again, don't pay attention to the margin, or don't pay attention to the score. Pay attention to the margin of victory, who I have winning. I have Wake Forest winning 31-24. Demon Deacons remain unbeaten. Wisconsin's going to hope to spoil Purdue's Big Ten West hopes. Of course, with that win over Iowa, they're right in the conversation to go to the Big Ten championship game as these two teams meet in West Lafayette. And it could not be any different. You have a pretty disappointing team this year in Wisconsin versus a mild surprise here at, actually a pretty big surprise in my opinion, here with Purdue. This game is at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on the Big Ten Network. Surprised me that Wisconsin is 3.5-point favorite. And yes, Wisconsin did open as the favorites as well. I thought Purdue would be favored in this game. Obviously not. Over and under is 40.5. Will Graham Mertz ever play to his potential? He's got 7 picks this year and 2 touchdowns. That's it. 7 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. That is not great at all. I know what Graham Mertz can be because we've all seen it. That game against Illinois 2 years ago, right? The COVID year. He went 20 of 21, looked fantastic. Ever since then, just hasn't looked great. So Wisconsin going to have Graham Mertz play well in order to win this game, because this is a tough Purdue team, and it's a Purdue team that has outgained every opponent it's played. thanks to playmakers like David Bell and the Boilermaker quarterbacks as well. You got Aiden O'Connell, Jack Plummer, some other quarterbacks have come into play snaps as well. Purdue used 3 quarterbacks against Iowa. I think Aiden O'Connell, who got most of the load in the Hawkeye game, will get the start here, and maybe Jack Plummer comes in, plays a couple snaps to help keep Wisconsin's defense on their toes, because Wisconsin statistically has got a really good defense skill-wise. They got all the pieces there. It's just I don't think Wisconsin has enough offense to win this game, not to mention George Karlaftis, one of the best defensive linemen in the nation. He's going to get pressure to Graham Mertz all day long, and I think Purdue is going to win this one here 24-13 as Purdue stays alive in the Big Ten West. In fact, they're going to be in first place after today. They already are in first place, but they will stay in their first place in the Big Ten West after they beat Wisconsin this weekend. My prediction. Oklahoma State is going to aim to keep things rolling through the Big 12 through Ames, Iowa. See what I did there? Okay, sorry. Facing the Iowa State Cyclones, who have been a disappointment this year, right? Iowa State, I've heard people say they're not that big of a disappointment. For the expectations coming in, Iowa State has been a disappointment, but they're the 7-point favorite in this game, which I looked at and I said, slow down. I just 7, like maybe favored, yes, but 7? I think that's way too generous for the odds makers. 47 is the over and under. This is the 3:30 game on Fox. What to watch for in this one? Well, I think defense is going to play a pretty big role. Iowa State's defense has gotten better as the season has gone along. And for Oklahoma State, well, the defense has been carrying them all year long. Going to be interesting to watch how both of these defenses play this game, because both offenses haven't really been what they were supposed to be this year. Now, Sanders versus Purdy, Spencer Sanders versus Brock Purdy, the quarterback battle is going to be interesting, right? Both quarterbacks have not played as well this year as I guess people that are fans of these teams would have hoped, right? If I have any fans, you can tell me that in the comment section below. But Spencer Sanders has had 1, maybe 2 good games this year, and the other have been just kind of while Brock Purdy has not had the season that he had a couple years ago, right? But another interesting battle is the running back battle. You got Jalen Warren, the Utah State transfer for Oklahoma State, and Breece Hall, who was the leading rusher in America last year. I think both these running backs are going to be able to get it going here in this one, if again, the defenses are kind of slacking off. But all in all, I think the turnover battle is the thing that is going to decide this game. And, well, defense wins championships, and I think Oklahoma State's got a better defense. I think they're going to win the turnover battle and ultimately go into Ames and beat Iowa State. I think Oklahoma State remains undefeated. 24-20 is my final score prediction. I don't know what Vegas is thinking, giving Iowa State 7. Again, just my prediction, though. I think the Cowboys remain unbeaten. This potentially is game of the week. This is going to be a fantastic game to watch. In fact, I have it as my personal game of the week. You guys can let me know what you think, but this is a really intriguing matchup. Oregon, 10th ranked team in the nation. They do have that win over Ohio State, but since then they have not performed up to that level since week 2. They're going to hope to kind of rebound, kind of get their stride in Pac-12 play, as they are going to take on a very tricky UCLA team. They've looked like world beaters all year. Of course, they beat LSU. And then, well, a couple teams come in there at home, talking about Fresno State, Arizona State, and they use the passing attack in order to beat this Bruins team, which is what Anthony Brown is going to have to do. Anthony Brown has not been spectacular this year at all. In fact, they beat Ohio State, in my opinion, on account of C.J. Verdell, and he looked unstoppable. Yes, Anthony Brown made some plays, in which I would argue then was a pretty lackluster Ohio State secondary, but again, Anthony Brown has not been the special kind of player that Oregon needs him to be this year. Is he a solid option at quarterback? I think so, but he has not played a special brand of football. We have not seen that. So Anthony Brown going to need to be special in this game if Oregon is going to want to avoid the upset. And a big day for Zach Charbonnet. I expect that Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be crashing the line, making sure that Charbonnet doesn't have the holes on the outside. But on the inside, I think he's going to be able to get some holes, be able to break for some big runs, because whenever Zach Charbonnet breaks the 100-yard mark, UCLA has not lost a game. That's going to be a key in this one. And I think this game is going to be aggressive. I think it's going to be fast-paced, lots of offense, some defensive stops in here as well. But ultimately, I see this being a pretty high-scoring affair. And I'm going to go ahead and agree with Vegas here. UCLA is the 1-point favorite. 60.5 is the over and under. I like that. I'm going to take UCLA 31-30 is my final score prediction. Honestly, flip a coin for this one because I honestly think it could go either way with the way that both of these teams are playing. If Oregon was playing a better brand of football right now, I would definitely have to go with the Ducks. But because we haven't seen Oregon play their style of game, or at least to the level that they want it to be at since the Ohio State game, I don't know how much more it's going to change against a UCLA team that is going to have this crowd fired up. It's going to be a tricky environment. I think UCLA pulls off the upset. Now it's just a matter of, can they get to the Pac-12 championship game? Let's find out. I think UCLA pulls off the upset here, improves to 6-2, while drops Oregon and possibly the entirety of the Pac-12 out of the playoff race. LSU hoping to continue this momentum build as they are due for battle against the 12th ranked Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss is the 8.5-point favorite with the over and under at 76.5. This is the 3:30 game on CBS. Let's address the elephant in the room right away. If you haven't heard, you've been living under a rock. Coach O is not going to be returning as the LSU head coach after this year. He's going to finish out the year, and then LSU will be hunting for a new head coach come season's end. So what will the Tigers' mindset be in this game? Are they going to play for their coach? Is this going to be a team that's going to come out there and say, Coach, we got your back. We're going to win as many games as possible. Or is this going to be a Tigers team that's just kind of like, meh? This is a big game to find that out. But Ty Davis-Price, what a game he had last week. And he's got a very favorable matchup. This Ole Miss team, while they've gotten a lot better at stopping the pass, their run defense is still pretty shoddy. So LSU, Ty Davis-Price, I think going to be able to move the ball on the ground pretty effectively here in this game. But Corral has looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. And I think you could argue he's one of the best players, if not the best player in America. I know people are going to argue for Bryce Young and others, but Matt Corral, look, in the offseason, I didn't have him as a top 10 quarterback because I needed to see him cut back on interceptions. He doesn't have an interception yet this year, and that is going to be a huge reason why Ole Miss wins this game. Not only that, but Ole Miss, I think, is playing better. LSU, again, who knows how this team is going to play? Who knows what this team's mindset is? I have a feeling, though, that Ole Miss is going to come out here. While I think LSU is going to pull up and have a pretty good fight in this one, I just see Ole Miss coming out on top. 41-27 is my final score prediction as the Rebels improve to 6-1 and get Auburn next week, I do believe. So that'll be an interesting one. I think Ole Miss rolls through LSU and gets the win. Clemson. Weird to not see a number by Clemson's name, but they're going to try to retake control of the ACC against Pittsburgh, who arguably could be the best team in the ACC. But again, that is yet to remain seen. They're going to be looking to prove it, though, here in this game, a 3:30 game on ESPN. Pitt favored by 3.5. Now, who thought that would happen at the beginning of the season, right? 47.5 is the over-under. This Pitt Panther offense has been lights out. It's been clicking on all cylinders. Kenny Pickett has looked fantastic. The running game has looked great. They're scoring a lot of points, but this is by far the best defense they're going to face all year, even with the injuries that Clemson has, especially on that defensive front. So this Pitt offense is going to pose a challenge for the Clemson defense, but definitely an interesting matchup to watch there. And again, I've already mentioned it a little bit. Pitt maybe is the best team in the ACC. I think if they win this game, especially if they win it convincingly, they prove that they are the best team in the ACC. So will they do that? This has been cardiac Clemson all year. Close games, they've been able to pull them out. Most of them, right? You have that game against Georgia, the game against NC State, but Clemson has not had a blowout, minus the game against South Carolina State, sure. But again, FCS team way below Clemson's level, way below anyone's level, for that matter of fact. But no, played South Carolina State, absolutely obliterated them. No surprise there. But every other game for Clemson has been close. And I think Pitt is going to win this one here. I do think it's going to be close because of Clemson's defense. But Clemson has shown this year that, well, this is just who they are on offense, right? DJ Uyunglele, not the star stud that we thought he was going to be, at least this year. This might just be a bad year for Clemson. And I know I've said it already, but the injury bug has hit them kind of hard. But regardless of that, you got to play with what you have. And I don't think Clemson's going to have enough to beat Pitt. They're not going to be scoring upwards of 30, but I still do have them winning the game. 21-13 is my final score prediction. Here's the Pitt Panthers may be the best team in the ACC after they win this game against Clemson. All right, we got a couple matchups in the Mountain West that I want to highlight. I talked about it in my intro, but there are some interesting matchups in the Mountain West this week. San Diego State, undefeated, one of the only undefeated teams left in the nation. They're going to look to remain that way as they face the triple option style Air Force Falcons. 7 o'clock on CBS Sportsnet. Air Force is the 3-point favorite. The over and under is 39, which shouldn't surprise you if you've watched these two teams at all this year, because the Falcons' rushing offense has been really good all year, but the Aztecs' rush defense, the Aztecs' defense, period, is one of the best in the nation. So Air Force is going to have to get past that. But what Air Force also needs to do is Hazik Daniels, the quarterback at Air Force, needs to take some shots. And Air Force is going to have to open up that passing game more than they normally would in this game here, because San Diego State, while they're really good at stopping the run, they're still pretty good at stopping the pass, but again, they're okay. And it's going to surprise San Diego State if they see Air Force throwing the ball often in this game. I know it's probably not going to happen, but I think Hazik Daniels at least needs to take some downfield shots for Air Force. And this is a possible Mountain West Championship preview. So take a good long look. If you can watch this game, please watch it. I think it's going to be a fantastic game to watch. All in all, though, what did I say last week in my review? I don't think San Diego State is going to stay undefeated much longer. And I think that rings true here in this one. I think the Air Force rush attack, triple option, just a little bit too much. I don't think San Diego State is going to have enough offense in this one as well. Not that great on offense, not even 300 yards per game. And I think the 22nd rate San Diego State Aztecs are going to go down. Air Force, the Falcons, able to upend an undefeated team. And there's one less undefeated team that we have to watch in FBS, because I think Air Force wins this game. Here's the other one in the Mountain West that I'm really, really excited about. It's a 7 o'clock game on Fox Sports 2. So again, this one might be limited around the nation as well, but if you can watch it, I really suggest that you do. Fresno State is favored by 3.5, with the over and under being 64.5. The quarterback battle is huge. Carson Strong, who might be the first quarterback off the board in the NFL draft with the way things have shaped out so far this season, versus Jake Haener, who had a disappointing week last week, only 98 passing yards. And because of that, again, Jalen Cropper just wasn't able to get going either. Both of these quarterbacks have lots of weapons. I talked about Cropper for Jake Haener just then, for Carson Strong. Look, he's got weapons as well. Cole Turner, Romeo Doubs, lots of other receivers out there as well. This is going to be a quarterback battle, not necessarily for the ages, but maybe one that flies under the radar. Going to be an interesting matchup to watch there. Running the football, I think, is going to be key. Now, again, these teams rely on the pass. So if they can open up, run the football more, I think whichever team has more success doing that has a pretty good shot to win this game. But San Diego State, if they're able to get past Air Force, San Diego State looms large for the victor, because San Diego State right now first in the Mountain West, which again is the division that both of these two teams are in as well. Both of them have yet to play San Diego State, but the winner of this one very well has a shot to, when they match up against San Diego State, take control of the division if they're able to win that game there. As far as the winner of this game, I think it's Fresno State. Fresno State statistically this year has been able to throw the football a little bit better than Nevada. They've been able to run the football a little bit better than Nevada. And I think these slight advantages, especially with it being on home field, is going to be enough. And Fresno State wins this game here. Okay, Ohio State is going to look to avoid a scare against Indiana in Bloomington. Again, upsets this week. Maybe you can look to this game. 7:30 game on ABC. It's primetime. Buckeyes 21-point favorite with 59 being the over and under. We know what Ohio State brings on offense. The best skill corps in the nation, along with one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. At least CJ Stroud is playing like that right now, with a much improved defense. If you've watched Ohio State the past couple weeks, they've really improved this defense tenfold from where they were against Tulsa and Oregon. But a lot of the keys here are for Indiana. Tuttle and the skill corps are going to need to show out. Of course, Michael Penix out with an injury. So guys like Hendershot, guys like Stephen Carr, guys like Ty Freifogel, they got to show up and show out in this game if Indiana is going to want to be able to pull off the upset. I expect a loud, pumped up crowd. Bloomington is going to be rocking. Indiana is going to be pumped up to play this one here. Indiana was ending a lot of losing streaks last year. One they didn't end, though, was Ohio State. And they're going to look to get them here in this game. One of the longest conference losing streaks, I believe, in the nation. And third downs, I think, are going to play a huge role because while Ohio State is converting third downs at a pretty good clip, Indiana is defending third downs at a pretty good clip. But, guys, Indiana has not played to the standard of where they were last year. Granted, teams that they lost to are in the AP top 11. So can you really blame them that much? Well, yeah, because this team had a lot higher of expectations. I just don't see Indiana coming close to pulling off this upset here. 45-23, my final score prediction. I think the Buckeyes load it on Indiana in Bloomington. They're able to avoid the upset pretty easily. Big game with Penn State coming up next week for this team. We'll see if they maybe might be looking ahead or if the Buckeyes take care of business, which I think they do. And the last game here, I know this video is a little bit longer than usual, so thanks for staying with me. USC and Notre Dame renewing their rivalries. Both teams are going to look to improve on the things that they've struggled with throughout the year, mainly on the defensive line for the Trojans. They just have not been able to get pressure to the quarterback. The sacks have not been there, but the Irish offensive line have also had its struggles. One of the worst in the nation at allowing tackles for loss is Notre Dame. 7:30 on NBC is where you can find this, where and when you can find this game. No surprise to me, Notre Dame favored by 7, over and under being 58.5. I think the pass game is going to flow for both teams as well. I think no matter who is at quarterback for either of these teams, I expect it to be Keaton Slovis and Jack Cohn, the starters that began the year for both these teams. But again, as I just said, I think the pass game is going to flow well. That's going to open up the run game too. When defense is going to be worried about passing, now all of a sudden they're running up the middle. Both these teams have some good running backs. I think this is going to be a pretty intriguing matchup, but I think quarterback pressure is the key. And Notre Dame's defensive line, I don't think it's even close. I think Notre Dame's defensive line, while again, haven't necessarily played as well as they did last year, they've been playing much better than USC's defensive line has this year. USC, again, another disappointment this year. Again, thought this was going to be the year for USC, as we do every year, and it just wasn't it. Notre Dame has been playing better football than USC, and I think they win this game here. I think USC is going to keep it close. The rivalry, it's going to be intense. I think it's going to be a close game throughout, but I see the Irish pulling this one out. 30-24 is my final score prediction for possibly the greatest rivalry in all of college football. And there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for the Week 8 games. If you have any other games you'd like to see me predict, leave them in the comment section down below. Tell me the winners that you got, or tell me what you guys have for winners of these games. I'd very much like to hear your thoughts. As usual, remember to comment, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Support the channel any way you can. But as always, remember to play hard, but tailgate harder. I'll see all you guys tomorrow with my Ohio State fan reaction, and then on Sunday with my weekly review. Goodbye.